Hi there, I'm Kelly, and this is my spotlight on a Socials 10 student. Let's get started. So my subject was a female in grade 10. She was wearing tights and a crop top with her hair up, which is pretty typical for people her age. She was sitting in the middle of the class, pretty inconspicuously, and she had one headphone in her ear the whole time, which the teacher didn't seem to notice or care. So her behavior through the lecture, she was listening to music and tapping her foot a lot of the time. She spent most of the class playing with her phone. She was whispering to her friends the other half of the time. She doesn't attempt to listen to or answer the questions the teacher's posing during the lecture. And she only looks up when the teacher's putting the PowerPoint notes up. She quickly copies them down on her worksheet and then she looks back at her phone. So the teacher claims to have banned phones during lectures. He told me later, but her and many others still have it out, and she in particular even had one headphone in her ear the whole time. So during her work time, she gets her friends to help her finish the worksheet, and doing so finishes the assignment really quickly. The worksheet wasn't particularly hard, it was just mostly copying things down from the book in the chapter. She spends the rest of the class talking about iOS 7 with a friend that just came out that day. She goes out for a couple minutes to get a sweater from her locker. She also, when he comes back, she gets up to make a call in class. And then I talked to her for a bit, and she tells me she only had Starbucks for lunch that day. Which is not very good. My diagnosis for her is that the student is bored. She's learned that the minimum work required is to copy notes down in the lecture, and not much else is required of her to do in class, so she's not very engaged. She finished the worksheet fast and can spend the rest of the class chatting, and the teacher didn't mind that. She knows she can get away with using her phone in class while still getting the work done, because there's not a whole lot to do. And it seems like she has pretty high energy levels. She was tapping her feet, she was running around, she was talking with friends, but obviously her energy levels are misdirected in the classroom. So my prescription for her is that the student needs more engaging activities that take longer to finish in class. So she just needs stuff that occupies her time in class, and it also takes her away from her phone, because hopefully it's more interesting than using her phone, although that can be hard sometimes. For example, she can use her phone to access the weather network and compare current maritime weather to continental weather. This will help her use her phone for good and not evil. I'm just using all geography weather examples because that's what they were doing in class that day. She could also the teacher could list climates and weather conditions for different cities and have students guess the location in Canada. That might be a fun way to end the class when they're all finished the worksheet, because they all seem to finish pretty quickly and spend the rest of the time chatting. The teacher could also get students to pick a city each and explain the precipitation processes for that area for the class. So, for example, one person can choose Vancouver, one person could choose Edmonton, Yellowknife, and they could compare the temperatures for that day and just discuss why they're different and what kind of climate processes cause that. So, yeah, that's my presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask me in class or post a comment.